What is going on, guys? Noah with Madison Angling, and today's tackle tip video is one that I'm really excited to share with you guys, and that is how I light up my inline planer boards for night trolling for walleyes. It is the middle of March, and now is the time to get out on the river systems up here in the Midwest to target some of the biggest walleyes of the year. And hands down, my favorite way to do that is trolling after dark with big crankbaits and inline planer boards. So I'm going to show you guys how I like to light up my boards. Now, there are a few actual board specific lights on the market. However, they're kind of expensive. So I'm going to show you my hack for getting around that part of it with something that's super, super inexpensive. You can get them absolutely anywhere and they work super well. So starting out here, I got my OR12 side planer, offshore tackle board. Awesome, awesome planer boards, indestructible. But if you've ever looked at one of these things, you might have noticed that on the top of the flag, we got a couple of slits here. And what the intended use for that is actually putting some kind of a lighting device on the flag. In this case, I've got a little single LED light designed to go inside of a light up bobber. And a lot of people who fish with these have probably used this method. It works, however, the lights are not the most reliable. If they burn out, they're not super cheap. It's kind of a pain to keep them on hand, and sometimes they're actually kind of hard to get, especially if you're trying to get them at a bait shop. So what I've done instead is I wandered through my local Walmart and I found these bad boys. These are LED glow sticks. They are $1 a piece. A lot of these little LED lights, especially these lights that you put inside of the bobbers, they're expensive. If you break down the price, they're like $2.50, almost $3 a crack. I'm sure you can find them cheaper, but they're not cheap. These are super cheap. They're $1. $1. Think about that. You can light up 10 boards for $10. These things are almost indestructible. They float. They come in all sorts of different colors. And did I mention they're $1? They're cheap. These things rock, especially if you're gonna be fishing with these and getting them wet. So I'm gonna show you how I rig these up and make them like the ultimate, in my opinion, ultimate planer board light. So let's get into it. All right, so first things first, what do we need to do this? Obviously, we need our glow sticks. One thing you'll probably notice right away, I had a red and a green, and I do that on purpose. I like to have the green on the starboard boards and I have red on the port boards, and that does two things for me. One, in the dark, I know which boards are going on which side of the boat, and two, it lets other people know where my boards are and which direction I'm headed at night. A lot of the places where you go and do this, for one example being the Fox River in Green Bay, it's super congested, lots of boat traffic, lots of people running boards, so having your boards lit up and especially having them color coded is really, really helpful, not only for yourselves in the boat, but also for other anglers keeping an eye out for your lines. So we've got our glow sticks. Again, I like red and green for these, but you can get any colors you want if you want to switch it up. We need some silicone, whatever is laying around. You probably have a tube of this sitting in your garage or in your house somewhere. Otherwise, they're $3 at Walmart, usually a couple aisles down from the camping aisle where you get these bad boys. And a 14-inch zip tie. I always keep a great big bag of these in my boat because zip ties and duct tape fix everything. The first thing we need to do with these is open them up. So the construction of these is super simple. We got our little cap here, we got our little pen keeper deal if you want to stick it in your pocket, or I don't really know why that's there, but it's there. We got our LED light inside of here, we got our little battery pack inside of that, and we got our plastic tube. This is super, super important, guys. Make sure you're paying attention. It's really, really technical. I'm serious. Not at all. If you watch any of my videos, you know I'm not serious at all. Silicone, threads. We're gonna put some on the threads here, on the tube. I go pretty heavy with this stuff just to make sure it's sealed up really well. Even though it's $1, I don't want these things burning out and getting wet, so I grease that up. Well, it's not grease. I silicone that up really well on the threads there. Stick it back on. There we go. Get it nice and snug. There we go. Okay, that's the first point on these where water can get in. The second is our little button here, our little switch. So this is not gonna look super pretty, but I promise you it works really well. I've been using these for a long time and this seals them up really well. So silicone, little rubber button. I get it as tight to that button around the edge as I can. I put a lot of pressure on the tube to force silicone down in any voids, and then I just completely cover the button, and I get all over the plastic. It's not gonna look pretty, and it definitely doesn't have to look pretty. It just needs to be functional. There you go. Definitely not pretty, but I'll tell you what, that does a really, really good job of sealing these things up, and now you don't have to worry about it. And the best part is these things last a long, long time. I'm still using a lot of these lights that I had left over from last year, and I do a ton of night trolling starting in March, running all the way through the end of May, and I'm still running these same lights. So now that we have our light sealed up, here comes the super crazy technical part. Zip tie planer board, zip tie on the planer board, light on top of the board, and zip tie it on. Obviously cut the tag end off so it doesn't get caught on your line, but there you go. That's it. Super simple. Your board lights up. You can see it super easily. If you want, when you put your zip tie on, thread it behind your tattle flag wire if you want your flag to function. A lot of times at night, especially if you're fishing for big fish, the tattle flag doesn't really matter because that board's getting yanked back hard and you're gonna see that light go shooting back behind the rest of the boards and it's fish on. So if you are in the market for illuminating your inline planer boards, check these guys out. I will have a link in the description below with all of the stuff that I use to do this. Mostly just the lights because everybody has silicone and zip ties, right? And seriously, instead of going out and buying expensive planer board lights, use these things. They're dirt cheap. You can get them anywhere. And let's say you're out on the water and, oh no, my lights aren't working. What are we gonna do? Google up the closest Walmart, hit the camping section, get some LED glow sticks, silicone them up, zip tie them on, and you are ready to roll. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully you guys find it useful, and we will see you on the next one.